Welcome everybody. My name is Chris Noon and I run the ISV public sector team here at Salesforce. We've got a great presentation, a couple of customers that will be telling you about how they use applications and what the power of Salesforce AppExchange is for government technologies. We also have two new partners which we'll be introducing, some apps that will be recently or very shortly available on the AppExchange. So without further ado, we are a publicly traded company, which means please make all your purchasing decisions based on currently available information and not any future forward-looking statements that we might be making throughout this presentation. We're all here about the AppExchange. You've heard of it, you know what it is, but the reason why Gartner has put us in the upper right-hand magic quadrant is because we have over 2,500 applications currently available. So when you think about your iPhone and you go to the App Store and you think about the Google Play, that's where you get those types of consumer applications. This is the #1 enterprise application market space in the world. With over 2.6 million installs, 44,000 peer reviews, and 71%, this is a number that we were just reporting today, 71% of our customers have installed at least one application. Another thing we're proud of is a new platform, or the way we released it last year, Salesforce One. And we have over 300 applications currently available that focus on the mobile-ready app. So I like to think, or like to say, that the government or the public sector vertical is the worst named vertical in the history of verticals. Because every problem that we see, the private sectors also see. So when you look at the horizontal applications that are available on the AppExchange today, you're looking at things that we also face as government customers. Things like IT admin, HR, and operations. We also know that certain verticals exist within the government, such as financial services and healthcare. So when you go to the AppExchange, you're going to see that there are applications that will fit every department, every budget, any industry, any timeline, and all types of support. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but mobile, we are a mobile-first company. Salesforce One came out last year. We announced it to great fanfare. And from last year to this year, we've actually got 300 mobile-ready apps. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, go to the App Store, go to Google Play, download it and start using it. Because we've removed the need for you to sit behind your desk. We've enabled you to use mobile devices, such as your phone or your iPad, and really run your business in a mobile-first environment. So what's that mean? All these partners that you see up here, and 300 total, have captured what we call micro moments, the ability to transact some portion of your business, to keep that business process flowing, even if you're not behind your Salesforce terminal. So using Salesforce One, you have the capability of doing this directly from your phone. Now, if you have partners who you're currently using some sort of their application and they don't have something customized for Salesforce One, ask them why not. Get in there, ask them, make them develop something that's going to help you interact with your citizens easier, faster, more completely. But we're here to talk about the government AppExchange. And I'm very proud about what my team and I have done over the last few years to grow out this ecosystem. You can see that, I like to say that we're hitting our critical mass. Currently, these applications range from workforce development to licensing and permitting to IT audits. And even though we continue to find more specific government solutions, we've also expanded what it means to be a AppExchange app within public sector. So we're not going to stop finding these awesome government apps. What we are going to do is start looking a little bit broader. So around core functions, we've got, proud to say that at least 3 different enterprise content management providers will be available on the AppExchange in the next few months. 55% of our government customers have identified that document management is a core function, something they require in their orgs. We've also got 2 partners that I'm happy to talk about. One is Fontiva, that's created a framework, essentially a platform on a platform, to help your customers, or excuse me, your agencies, or your agencies faster develop applications and also make them more secure. We also have another company called Velocity that recently introduced an application that does the same thing, extending the capabilities of our platform to make them more robust for your needs. I also talk about extensions, and really this is just more forward-looking. We do have one partner here, Facial Network, and they're going to talk a little bit about their leading platform for facial recognition. I read an article just the other day that talked about the government wanting to get away from password as far as a mechanism for authentication. Well, they're going to be moving towards biorecords, and luckily, Facial Network is a company that can bring that to Salesforce today. Finally, FedRAMP. This is an exciting announcement that we had as of May this year, so this past year. So for those of you who don't know what FedRAMP is, essentially it's a standard. And we have a authority to operate under the HHS. So what does that mean? That means that there's a certain number of controls that the government mandates that any production environment running in the cloud has to live up to. Well, we've met those standards. And because of our multi-tenant architecture, we've created this secure government cloud, and all of our application partners benefit from it because they will inherit the same security, the same infrastructure that our PaaS and our SaaS currently have. And right now, Salesforce has the only available platform as a service and software as a service with authority to operate under FedRAMP. So if you don't know this and you are a government customer, know that you're supposed to be under the standard as of June 2014. We're seeing this slip into our state and local groups, so just be aware that as you guys start looking at what's the next generation of security or standardization, know that you can trust Salesforce because our application partners are able to build on our technology. So they're able to develop apps and get them approved faster on our platform. And for our government customers, what does that mean? That means more apps for you. So where can you find all these? If you go to the AppExchange, you can actually click under Industries. And under Industries, you'll see that we've got a government section. So on there, you're going to see the 109 different applications that we have specifically targeting government. And to talk more about that, we've got two of our customers. So I'd like to introduce Randy. Randy is with the LA County Office of Education, and he's going to talk a little bit about how he uses applications and why it's important. So Randy, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Randy McCauley, a program manager with Lako. I'm on the senior management team at Lako, responsible for the workforce development applications and contracts that we have with the Department of Public Social Services. Let's go to the next slide here. One of the things that we do is that we are, a little bit further, okay, all right. Through a set of contracts with the Department of Public Social Services, we work with the welfare population to provide job services opportunities for them so that they can move from welfare dependency into self-sufficiency through employment. As an organization, Lako is new to Salesforce. We've only been working with the applications since 2012, and we're currently re-engineering our business processes and transition to a new way of providing services. The federal government is looking at changing the workforce development process in some pretty significant ways. They're focusing on employer-driven workforce development as opposed to the current way where they just provide money for us to try to get people on welfare jobs. It's a different way of looking at that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And what I'm going to do is to kind of take you through the process that we went through and where we want to go in the future. Right now, we've made several discoveries as we're going through this change. And one of the things that we found is you need the right business processes. Because of the change that the government is making, moving more from getting a bunch of folks that we need to provide services to and training them to go out and find jobs, to going out and looking at businesses and employers and finding out what they need, and then focusing our training on more of a demand-driven system for employers. One of the things that we've noticed as we're growing is that the need for project management. And one of the things that our organization is dealing with right now is understanding the importance of data and the importance of reporting that data back to our funding sources. Some of the tools that we're using the workforce development software, which is on the government AppExchange. A couple of ones that are just on the AppExchange that we're using are Data Loader and Clarizen for project management. And the third thing that I want to talk about is the necessity of having the right partner to work with. One of the things that we found is we work with the Launchpad company, who is the developer of the workforce development system. And one of the things that we found is that they need to speak the same language. So if you're going to have a company work with you that that is going to do some customization of the applications for you, maybe build you a custom app. They're in the process right now of building us a custom app, as well as using the one from the government AppExchange. It's really good if their business people know your business, as well as the IT side. And we found that with our partner in Launchpad. Some of the places that we want to go in the future is collaboration with other workforce development agencies. Right now we're using Chatter, and we're trying to get all of our other partner agencies in LA County. There are several in LA County where we have one of the largest welfare populations in the United States, and a lot of us in different agencies are trying to work together. Well, Chatter we found is a great way for us to collaborate in a way that builds trust between agencies and gets us out of our silo type thinking. You can see there's several examples there of some of the agencies that we'll be working with. The other thing that we're looking at in the future is moving from the native Salesforce platform to more of a mobile platform. Right now we're in a transition period. And we're going to be looking at doing things like classroom management. We teach job-seeking skills to the participants that come to us. And one of the things that we're looking at is an attendance system, and maybe allowing our facilitators to do attendance on an iPad or a similar device. Also, we're looking at asset management too. We're going to be growing our the group of apps that we're going to be using, looking at the government AppExchange for ideas as to how to integrate the data that we have. Another thing that I'm really excited about is looking at integrating geographic information. We have over 23 sites in LA County that covers over 4,000 square miles of territory, and we have to move things between sites. We have participants going to jobs. We have LA traffic to contend with. And so one of the things that we're trying to do is to figure out better ways of moving things between sites, better ways of allowing our participants to move towards those jobs that we're trying to get for them.
Excellent. All right. Well, it sounds like you have a need for some more Salesforce One apps then.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that right?
Yes.
So, there you go, pitch out there. I also understand, based on our last conversation, that maybe we've got another solution here that you might be interested in.
Yes.
So big news, guys. This has been a long time coming. Thank you very much, Randy. This has been a long time coming. I want to introduce Daniel Lee. He works with ESRI, and he's here to talk about their application and what it's bringing to Salesforce.
Great, thanks, Chris. Yeah. Let me just get set here. Okay. My name is Daniel Lee. I work with ESRI. Specifically developed a product that maps into your Salesforce application. How many people are familiar with ESRI? A lot of you. So what we've done is allow people who are traditionally familiar with GIS that may not be, reverse, who may be familiar with Salesforce but may not be familiar with traditional GIS, and allow them to use it within a Salesforce application. So we have two different applications that we are on the verge of getting on the AppExchange. One is a ESRI Maps web integration, and the other is a Salesforce One ready application. So what I wanted to show you is a quick demo of how you can actually, there are two different products, and you can actually use them as seamless workflows going from the office to the field. So this is some data that we have, and what's interesting is if you've seen your Salesforce records, they're just a bunch of records in a table format. What we've done is we spatially enabled them. Now you can see them as points on a map. Now that's great. Anyone can see, a lot of people can make points on a map. But what we've done is add the ability to add other spatial information, other spatial context to that map. So not do you take your Salesforce data and spatially enable it, but also you integrate it with your back-end GIS infrastructure. So here I have an example of permit. So that comes from your Salesforce records. We have some kind of spatial information that allows us to map it. We also integrate, and we, as a service, we can start adding other features or GIS layers to give it context. So maybe museums and farmers markets. So these other GIS assets would give you context of doing some analysis and a visual of what your area of interest is. So in this case, what we want to do is, we have, I've done some magic here and turned off too many layers. What we want to do is take a look at some permits that are within this vicinity. So my workflow may be some analyst is sitting behind the desk. They figure out a bunch of records or some permits that they need to get field verified. So we take this information and we can post it on Chatter, and we can send this information to a field worker. So now I'm going to switch gears, go from the web integration to the mobile integration, so Salesforce 1. So it's a different product, different set of features, but both common GIS integration. So here, what we have here on the left-hand side, we have a panel that shows all the records of interest. We are geo-enabled, meaning that if I did a nearby search, I can find all my records within this vicinity. So we're not going to display all the records, but we're going to try to be contextually aware and see spatially where you are and bring those information to light. I've marked the ones of interest as favorite. These are the ones that were submitted to us by Carla, who's in the back office, did some analysis. So we can start integrating and start investigating some of the information here. Some of the tools available, one of the things you might be interested in is getting some context of your data. So we have Bombay company here, and within Bombay we created a 1-mile buffer to figure out what kind of population sits underneath that. So if you need demographic information, if you need lifestyle information, we have that at the fingertips, ready, available. And wherever you click on the map, you can get that information. It's dynamic. It tries to find that circle and grab that information from the server. Another thing that you might want to do is you go out in the field, you can see all the accounts that are within the area, and it gives you that in the distance. But once you're done, you might want to check in. So when I check in, it actually posts to the Chatter feed. But not only do I post to the Chatter feed, I'm not going to actually do it, but I can show you an example of what happens to that. So Chatter feed not only integrates with Chatter, and you can see that as a Chatter feed, but we also add some spatial component. Now we have a record of where you've been spatially along with your Chatter feed. So if you want to go back to the slides, I'll just quickly summarize.
Did it?
Nope. Oh, I'm sorry.
Got a lot of buttons to push up here, guys.
So the main takeaway is we're taking traditional Salesforce data and we're enabling it spatially so that you can start examining the data in a different way. You can start marrying it with other GIS infrastructure to give you context and to give you spatial analysis with that. We also give you the ability to, if you want to change the next slide, to put a mobile component in there to give you field work. And you can start seamlessly taking the data from your desktop into the field. And then you can start enhancing that information by taking things such as demographic data and lifestyle data.
Excellent. Thank you, Dan. Now, I know that when inspections are going out, one of the big things that I've seen in government circles is that you have to have proof that somebody actually was there. So by using the location and geolocating, you could actually see that an inspector did go to one of those places to actually see and say, yes, I've been here.
Correct.
Okay. And then I didn't see, and I know we talked about this, but there's no permit yet for the Giants World Series parade?
No, not yet.
Okay,
We're
next
working
time?
on that, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up, thank you very much, Daniel, is Dan Alt. Dan is kind of a superstar in the 311 arena, and he's actually come with his own video. Can you?
Go back. Oh,
No.
you were back a slide.
I apologize. No, I'm forward now. So,
There we go. Back it up.
nope, just click right there.
Right here.
That's it.
Oh.
And then sound.
Elgin is a place that's characterized by a lot of friendly people who have high expectations of their local government, who expect you to meet the challenges that the community has in front of them.
City of Elgin 311, how may I help you?
The reason we went with 311 is we wanted to be able to connect with our citizens in a new way. We wanted to be able to reinvent the way local government is able to connect with the citizens.
When you call 911 for any local government in this country, you're going to get a timely response. It's going to be an excellent response because local governments have really been built around the concept of public safety.
What 311 is we're bringing that same sort of certainty to everyday city services. So they don't have to figure out what department is responsible. They don't have to worry about getting transferred all throughout the city. We're trying to connect the right people at the right time to the right information.
We can definitely help you out with that.
We want to be a part of what made their day easier, not what made it more trying. We felt that Salesforce's culture, their mentality, how they approached their sector was a perfect partner for us. In that Salesforce is the tool that allows us to kind of implement our vision for what we want to create.
We use Salesforce in a variety of ways. Chatter is the collaboration platform that we use to connect different departments. We use the Service Cloud to connect with residents, whether it's on the web or over the phone, via email or social media channels. It really simplifies both the access for the residents as well as for our employees working in the 311 Center, because you can go from getting a request that maybe we don't know the answer to collaborating with people in other departments via chatter, and then instantly going back and being able to close out that case.
It allows for higher level engagement, allows for more transparency.
People can get updates on construction projects in real time. People can get updates on different programs that are happening in the city.
311 is more than just a phone number. It's really a place where people are able to feel like they're a part of their community.
Once we introduced Salesforce, we immediately gained 108,000 additional employees, because the size of our community now allows them to be eyes and ears, but it gives them a tool, gives them a platform to be able to connect with us.
We always joke around that we're only limited with Salesforce by our imagination and our budget, because there's virtually nothing that it can't do.
I would recommend Salesforce to other local governments because I think what they've been able to show through their own organization with customer engagement is what local governments need to do with citizen engagement. It's built for the local government that doesn't exist.
311 is particularly important in today's day and age where there is frankly low trust, if not resentment of government. And we need to be able to show that we have the citizens first and foremost in our mind, and we want to serve them well and show them that their investment is one that is a good one.
So yeah, besides the awkwardness of watching yourself in a movie theater, thank you for Chris for allowing us to showcase what we've been doing with 311, and also I grew a beard. Our story really began in 2012. That's when we acquired the enterprise Salesforce system to power our 311 Center. But even back then, we knew that the reason we went with Salesforce for 311 Center was because of the AppExchange. And one of the reasons that it was an easy sell to our city council is just what Chris was talking about earlier, things like Cloud First, FedRAMP. It gave our city council kind of the confidence to know that we were moving in the right direction. So I wanted to start off just with a quote from the Wall Street Journal from about last year at this time. And really to summarize what it's identifying is that people are living their lives on the iPhone, but when they go into City Hall, they're getting a permit or a license, and it's largely still a paper process. And so that just erodes trust and confidence in government. So that's something, that gap needs to get closed. And for us, we believe that the Salesforce AppExchange is how we can help close that gap and then eventually, hopefully, be able to conduct transactions just like Amazon does. So it's just that easy. I wanted to highlight the applications that we're currently using. Basic Gov and Asset Optics, they kind of fill an important piece because, to me, local government, non-emergency services, there's really three key components. And it's constituent management or citizen management, it's parcel management or address management, and then asset management, so the infrastructure that we fix and maintain. Monexa is the flexible billing solution we've been looking for some time, so that helps us with constituent citizen management and also parcel management. And then Fontiva is going to help us take our community to what we've always wanted it to be. So it's that online experience we've been looking for. It's able to provide a one-stop shop for training, transactions, information, and we can have an online community like many private sector companies do. So the area's impact, I just wanted to showcase that it really is entrenched in our culture. So you see here what most local governments, their basic operations, everything that's non-emergency, and really they're all interrelated, and the Salesforce AppExchange is what really brings it all together. And then the customer-facing piece that our citizens regularly deal with is the 3-in-1 Center. And so because of these AppExchange apps, it's what allows our 3-in-1 Center to become that much more powerful. And then this slide here, it's a slide I just hate to look at. I showed it when we acquired these apps. This was, I did some business process analysis of our business license process. So you can see there's a number of swim lanes here. What I really want to draw your attention to is the system legend, just how many different systems we were using to process business licenses. And this is something that pretty much every local government does, and I'd be willing to bet that most of them look like this today. This is how it's done. So there's a number of different technology systems, there's paper processes, there's a lot of departments involved, and with the Salesforce AppExchange, we've really been able to streamline that. So now there's nowhere near as many departments involved. A single employee from any department is much more powerful and can complete this process. It's easier to do online, and then most importantly, if you look at the system legend, they're all on the Salesforce platform.
Nice. So Dan, I know that a lot of this stuff is possible with Service Cloud, just Salesforce out of the box. Correct. So when you went to a Monexa, you went to a Basic Gov, these are now core components of your 3-1-1.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so what's the advantage that you have working with a Basic Gov, a Monexa, an Asset Optics, a Fontiva, that might add value to the overall project?
Well, I mean, the reality is, as much as we'd want to smash every silo down if it was possible, these are industry-specific solutions, and there still is some levels of complexity here that companies like Basic Gov or Monexa, they can really bring that expertise, and that's just where the core Salesforce solution just couldn't do it for us.
Nice. So much like Randy, you also have people who actually do talk the talk and know what you've got an educated partner who actually knows the vocabulary of what you're trying to
Absolutely, exactly like Randy.
do. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Dan.
All right.
Next up, we've got a new application that's going to be coming out very shortly, Gov ID, and I want to introduce both Kevin and Josh from Facial Network. Please come on up. So we've got a video that sort of describes some of this stuff, but very pleased to have this partner. This is one of our forward-looking, what are we going to do to extend what people typically think about government app exchange? And one of the first partners that we looked at that are really transforming the way that we look at Salesforce and what you can do with facial recognition and this biorecords, which is the next cutting edge authentication. These guys came leading platform. They get written up by Al Franken all the time. But based on that, do we have a video that sort of starts things off?
Yeah, let's go ahead and throw it
So
on.
can you just click on that?
Okay, yeah.
And volume.
As you can see, the searches are incredibly fast, under a second in most cases.
Nicely done. So that's the splash. We had some AV difficulties, otherwise we'd be showing this live. But do you want to tell us a little bit about facial recognition and what it means?
Absolutely. Is this working?
It does.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having us. We're really excited to be releasing Gov ID on the AppExchange very shortly. And Josh will talk a little bit more about the experience that we've had working with Salesforce. It's been great. We're a very young company. We're not even 2 years old just yet. So having a partner with the caliber of Salesforce for us is huge. Of course, our investors love it. Our customers love it. Everybody's really, really thrilled that we're here and you've taken us under your wing, Chris. Specifically, we're here to talk about facial recognition and want to give you guys just a little bit of an overview of what facial recognition is and how it works, and especially how it works on our mobile devices now with our cloud-based facial network platform. So facial recognition is something that is sometimes misunderstood. I'm going to try to break it down and just let you guys understand exactly what it is. And we look at it in two separate ways. One is identification and the other is authentication. Identification is when I want to take a photo of someone and then have the database of biorecords tell me who that person is. So I want to identify that person. Authentication is when I am expecting a certain person, like in a logins type of scenario, and I want to compare the photo that I'm getting with the expected biorecord of the identity of the person that we want to authenticate. So we like to say that a face is nature's QR code. All of our faces are unique. Even identical twins have some differences in their facial structure. Facial recognition is the process of identifying a person by those differences in their face. So we all have slight differences in the symmetry of our faces, where our facial traits and characteristics are, and that's what we're measuring. We're taking the photo, we're measuring all of those different traits and nodes in the face, and then creating a piece of biometric data that we're storing in the cloud. Facial recognition really allows us to do some very amazing things when you look at identification at a distance, where with fingerprints or DNA or other types of identification systems, they have to, in most cases, have to be taken with the person actually touching something. And with facial recognition, we can do it on mobile devices from a distance. So that opens up a lot of potential opportunities for us with different apps and seeing different use cases for facial recognition.
And yeah, Kevin, if I may, we've basically developed Gov ID, which is delivering what you guys saw in the video via an AppExchange app. So you can go, or very soon you'll be able to go and instantiate this app and be able to create a database of people that you can then subsequently go identify.
So Josh, when you're talking about Gov ID, I know it's only one of many applications that you anticipate bringing on. I've seen TSA ID, I've seen ICE ID, I've seen Hospitality ID, I've seen, what's the last one? Reminder ID. So this is sort of that starting point, right? And you guys are more than just an application provider. You've got a whole platform.
Correct. Yeah. So we have the platform, and we're using Salesforce to hook into that. So you can use your already existing metadata, customer records or persons of interest, and hook right into facial network, create access points, create mobile apps that do scans, whatever your use case might be.
So for application partners out there that are looking for some way of either using double authentication or extending your application to include facial recognition, you have APIs that are open?
Exactly, yeah. It'll be available once that gets approved.
Okay. And I know you got a video. So can we do the second video?
Yes, let's do it.
Today we're going to be doing a demo of the facial recognition mobile app, ICE ID, built by Salesforce and facialnetwork.com. Let's start with this gentleman. We'll take a quick snapshot. We're searching. As you can see, the photo quality is good and the head position is good, but no matches have been found. So we're going to enter a name in. Let's try another photo just to see if it'll find him this time. So there you go. Search the photo. Josh Rose. Found him, 99%. So now let's try this gentleman. Search the photo. Photo quality was good. Head position was good. Looks like we have a high percentage match, 99% for Logan Brown.
So in that demonstration, we were showing a scenario where upon the first photo that we took and we scanned, the individual's biorecord was not in our system, so we did not find a match. And then we enrolled that, in this case, Josh's information, and then the next time we took a photo, he was found at a 99% match rate.
So you want to talk about Orbit as well?
Sure. So in that case, that's identification, and that's what something like Gov ID will allow you to do in any scenario that you need it for, whether that's identifying agents or identifying staffers or even potentially, different individuals who may be accessing government services. Our other app that we are really excited to bring to the AppExchange very soon is an app called Orbit, and it is an authentication app. So essentially with Orbit, you are using the front-facing camera from your phone, and you take that camera and you just swipe your phone right in front of your face, and you use this this type of a pattern so that we are actually creating a 3D model of your face as you swipe the phone, and then we are authenticating that against the data that's up on the server. That should be your data, and we're also using the accelerometer and the gyro in the phone, as well as GPS and other things like distance of the face and size of the face and speed, to determine whether or not that motion path is within the thresholds that we have acceptable, that's acceptable for your authentication. So you could log into an account like your bank account app on your phone.
Salesforce account.
Your Salesforce account.
There you go. That's a good use.
We
Seems
already
like
have
a
that.
reasonable use.
It's a great use. And you can just swipe your phone in front of your face and you have extremely high security, and it's very quick, and it's easy to use, and it offers the convenience of logging in with a single sign-on, but it's multi-factor, and it doesn't sacrifice security.
Yeah, so you can imagine any of your systems that you currently have, you can Orbit enable it, so it would just send a kind of a push to your phone. You bust out your phone, swipe across your face, and you are all the token authentication stuff happens, and you're able to log into your Salesforce account or whatever it might be without using a password.
Excellent. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Now, you guys are also exhibiting here, right? So if you want to see the demo live, I believe it's W27.
W27
Got to go
is
back
our
to
booth
the.
in
There you go.
in
W27
Moscone West.
Moscone West. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right, so that's it. Go to the AppExchange. Go check this game out. AppExchange Match Apps. It's www.matchapps.cool. So take a look. I think you win prizes. Not sure. But with that, we got Q&A in 2 minutes. So if anybody has any questions for any of our panel or for me, please raise your hand, and we've got a guy with a microphone who's going to run around. Okay. Well, then I guess if you want to speak to any of our speakers offline, they'll be here for the next couple of minutes. Other than that, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your show.